Physicists can measure the vibration of these 7 colors and have discovered that they each vibrate to distinct frequencies related to the 7 major notes on the musical scale. Thus, the frequency, or number of vibrations per second, at which a note vibrates can be translated into a color. Red vibrates at the lower end of the spectrum and violet at the higher end. Each of the 7 levels within a dimension has a vibrational range unique to that level, and each of these individual levels can be subdivided further into 7 divisions. Lower dimensions vibrate at lower frequencies. Higher dimensions vibrate at higher frequencies. All dimensions comprise consciousness, and they all exist simultaneously. The ascended masters vibrate at a level much higher than we do. Although we exist simultaneously with them, most of us cannot see them, even though they can see us. Those who can see them only with the inner eye, called the third eye. Another example of something that vibrates at a higher frequency is ultraviolet light, which resides on the border between the 3rd and 4th dimension. With instrumentation, we can measure this higher frequency and therefore know that it exists, even though we cannot see it with our naked eyes. This light always has been a part of our reality, yet we did not know this until we developed the technology to measure it. The second concept that is important to understand is that all dimensions within the universe exist simultaneously. All that is or ever will be exists now, in this moment of time. However, we are limited by our consciousness as to how much of this existence we can perceive and comprehend. The higher our consciousness, the higher our vibration rate, the more we can see into other dimensions. While the above statement is true, it is also difficult for most people to understand. In the past, only minds like Einstein's could comprehend exactly what simultaneous existence means. Today, with our scientific discoveries and increasing technological information, humanity slowly is acquiring the capability to understand these advanced concepts. Before attempting to explain these concepts further, it may be helpful to explain the various dimensions. Next is about the dimensions. The first dimension. The first dimension sometimes is called the mineral kingdom. Its frequency range is measured on a scale from 1 through 7, and it is the dimension where the life force energies begin to flow. Consciousness exists in the atom, and in this dimension consciousness is experienced through the laws of magnetism, gravity, and chemical properties. This is the dimension of solidification of thought forms experienced through the lowest form of vibration known to our existence. The second dimension, known as the plant kingdom, comprises the next harmonic range of 8 through 14 frequencies. Life exists here, and the kingdom reproduces itself following perfect patterns in nature. Notice that plants need light to sustain life, but the mineral kingdom does not. It is the mineral kingdom that provides the precious nutrients needed to sustain life in the plant kingdom. It is the sun that provides the photons to be converted in the plants through the process of photosynthesis. The third dimension. The third dimension is the animal kingdom, of which humans are a part. This dimension exists within the next band of frequencies, ranging from 15 through 21. Within the animal kingdom, consciousness is very complex, ranging from the very simple to the capacity of humans. As animals evolve to a higher state, they acquire higher levels of reactive behaviors. The human kingdom, which functions at the top of the animal kingdom scale, exists interactively with the lower dimensions. Innate intelligence appears to set humans apart from the rest of creation. The third dimension adds the measurement of depth to the flat measurements of length and width. It is this quality that supports the physical world around us. The third dimension also is dominated by a carbon-based material existence. The formula for carbon is C6H6 606. These celestial beings point out that the number 666, emanating from this formula, was referred to as the sign of the beast in the book of Revelations in the Bible. The third dimension is ruled by our five senses of taste, sight, smell, hearing, and touch, all connected with the physical world around us. When we lose ourselves in the world of matter, we also can lose touch with our souls and the light of the higher dimensions. Since all is energy, the third dimension often is referred to as solidified thought, that which constitutes the Maya, or illusion, around us. Everything seems real because things have physical appearance, length, width, and depth. But everything actually is energy when viewed from a higher perspective. The density of matter makes things move in slow motion or at a slower vibration, often causing people to perceive reality as consisting of limitations because it takes so much effort to create within this density. Because of this slow motion, individuals have difficulty comprehending the power of mind and the way in which it rules thoughts to manifest form. A sense of duality rules the third dimension, so individuals look for black and white answers to questions. They encounter pain, suffering, and emotional challenges while experiencing life on this plane. These experiences drive the individual to accrue good and bad karma, an unfinished business that must be addressed later on. As the soul begins to experience enlightenment and acquires a higher consciousness, issues no longer are perceived as yes or no or black and white. Instead, each event begins to take on a new meaning and is analyzed in the context in which it exists. This is a sign that the soul is beginning to evolve out of the illusion of the third dimension. Gautama Buddha, upon attaining enlightenment, taught about the conditions that make up the third dimension. He said that all is impermanent and part of a flowing existence. Individuals get caught in a cycle of life and death because any incomplete deed or unfinished business in one lifetime projects toward a new incarnation. Life is subject to misery and suffering, and especially to sickness and death. Out of this teaching, Buddha defined his four noble truths. These are: 1. Existence includes conflict, dissatisfaction, sorrow, and suffering. 2. There is purpose for all suffering, which is caused by selfish desire. 3. We can be emancipated from this suffering. 4. Freedom from suffering is obtained by following the Eightfold Path. Buddha's Eightfold Path to escape the cycle of rebirth and suffering requires a higher and more ethical code of behavior than most individuals practice today. This path includes constant introspection and a correct or true way of living. It is expressed as 1. Right seeing, 2. Right thought, 3. Right speech, 4. Right action, 5. Right living, 6. Right endeavor, 7. Right-mindedness, 8. Right concentration. Following this path leads an individual to freedom and the ability to transcend third-dimensional reality, because these principles are also inherent in the universal laws. Discussed in Part 2 of this book, it is apparent that the wisdom of the Buddha was far ahead of its time, and it still has not been realized on earth. All humans have the natural ability to perceive dimensions higher than the third, although few ever have understood that they could. In Atlantis, humans in embodiment accepted this mode of operation and perception as normal behavior. The Atlanteans operated on this superior level of existence, connected to their higher selves. With the fall of Atlantis, humanity experienced a struggle for survival and became aware of the lower self dominated by the will of the ego. Now, after thousands of years of evolution, most people have forgotten not only how to connect with higher dimensions, but also that it is even possible to do so. Psychics and mystics have long been known for their abilities to transcend other realities and dimensions. Any individual whose consciousness was not attuned to this ability often feared these individuals who could transcend other dimensions.